Hey guys, Ambience here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to beat FNaF 3 Nights 1, 2, and 3 on FNaF VR Help Wanted. FNaF 3 is typically considered one of the easiest games in the original series, but in a weird inversion of the FNaF 2 modes balancing, I actually find it harder than the original, excluding the bonus nights, obviously. This is mainly due to the phantoms being on actual crack and now being a serious threat that can catch even experienced players off guard. In turn, this also makes searching for Springtrap, or doing anything with the cameras for that matter, seriously annoying, since you might have to look away to dodge a phantom at any moment. Of course, there are some changes to compensate, including a more spammable audio lure and the ability to multitask. Still, you need to be really careful because one mistake can be the end of a run. First things first, let's talk about Night 1, though that's really more of an obligation at this point. Just like the original FNaF 3, it's impossible to die here because there's no animatronics in the building yet. Since we're here though, let's go over some basic fundamentals of gameplay. The office is, well, it's FNaF 3, but reorganized a bit to fit the new 3D environment. The monitor and maintenance panel are always active now. Instead of having to be lifted up, the monitor is in front of you and the maintenance panel is directly to your left. There are 10 main cameras in FNaF 3, and the layout is important to analyze if you haven't played the original game or don't remember it very well. Basically, the higher the number, the further the camera is away from you. To lure Springtrap around, you have to play audio using the button at the bottom of the monitor in a room that connects to the one he's currently in. Cam 9 connects to 8 and 10, Cam 6 connects to 5 and 7, Cam 2 connects to 3, 4, 5, and the window. You can get a pretty good idea just by looking at the map and seeing what rooms connect where. Springtrap may not always listen to audio, but if you use it enough, he'll walk over eventually. Of course, there's also 5 vent cameras, which appear on a secondary monitor near the top right of your office in this mode. You can seal these using the red button in the corner of the screen, but only one at a time. While hovering over the regular or vent monitor, the other one will turn to static, so only switch to the vent cameras when you really need to. You'll want to keep tabs on Springtrap in the rooms most of the time, and you'll also want to dodge the vents as much as possible later on. The maintenance panel is more or less the same. Press the blue button next to an option to hover it, then hit the reboot button to reboot that system. The difference is that you can do other things while a system is rebooting, which is incredibly helpful and plays into the main strategy for the nights. There will be a few errors on this night. Obviously they can't really harm you yet, but it's best to get some practice rebooting anyway. The last thing you need to know is that time works really weirdly in FNaF 3 Help Wanted. I mean, really weird. You know how the wiki says that every night lasts 5 minutes exactly? Well, throw that out completely because it's not consistent. The first night, due to there being no real activity, lasts 3.5 minutes, meaning each hour lasts 35 seconds. Fair enough. The second night adds actual threats, so the night is longer. This is close to the wiki's estimate, but it's actually 4 minutes and 59 seconds, meaning every hour lasts 49.83 seconds. On second thought, let's just go with the wiki for this one and round up before I get another headache. The third night, however, lasts 5 minutes and 3 seconds for some reason. Therefore, each hour lasts 50.5 seconds. Yay. These are obviously minor differences, but Springtrap being able to break space and time is kind of an important detail, as you'll see later, because this isn't the only thing he can do. Springtrap ignoring the laws of physics is probably the last super basic thing about this mode, so let's jump into Night 2 for the first actual challenge. Springtrap is now in the building, and with him comes 2 new phantoms. We'll get to them in a bit, but for now we'll go over the main bunny himself. Springtrap doesn't spawn instantly yet, so that's nice, gives you some downtime at the start of the night. I recommend sealing Cam 14 at the very start, since Springtrap spawns close to Cam 10, and that vent is an instant death if he makes it through. To quickly summarize what vents lead where, Cam 11 and 12 both lead to the hallway outside your door, meaning that you'll be in big trouble if Springtrap gets through, but it's not an instant death. Cam 11 can be entered from 9, and Cam 12 can be entered from 7. Similarly, Cam 13 leads from Cam 5 to the window right in front of you. If Springtrap gets through here, you could still lead him to 2 and bring things back, so it's probably the least dangerous vent for him to get through, but it's still bad. Cam 14 and 15 are just an instant death as it leads into the vent pathway directly on your right. There's a light button on your desk that you can use to see if Springtrap's heading toward you from there, but this is only useful to prepare to take a jump scare or reset. Once you see him crawling toward you, there's really nothing you can do unless you're seconds away from 6 AM. Cam 14 connects to 10, and Cam 15 connects to 2, by the way, so they're basically on opposite ends of the map. When Phone Dude says this line,
"We found one. A real one.
Springtrap will spawn in Cam 9, so you'll have a choice to make. You could lure him to Cam 10 by playing audio there, or you could lure him to Cam 8, then 7. To make a good choice here, you have to understand the difference. Cam 10 is obviously the furthest away from you, but it has a vent leading directly to your office, which wouldn't be much of a problem if it weren't for the fact that Springtrap is more unbalanced than a three-legged polar bear on ice skates. There's a few situations where he can bypass the vent snare or otherwise cause huge problems. First of all, if you get a ventilation error, then vent seals don't work anymore until the error is fixed. Sure, it only takes a few seconds to reboot, but you absolutely can get unlucky and have him climb in the vent while rebooting, if he's not already there. This means that a single mistake can instantly mean the end of a run if you're not rebooting enough or get hit by a phantom. But hey, as long as you play well and don't slip up, you're all good, right? Nope, sometimes Springtrap just decides that vent seals don't exist anymore anyway, and either appears to go through them or actually does. I am not making this up. I like to call this busted abomination of coding failures Giga Springtrap, and he's probably my least favorite thing in all of Help Wanted. So yeah, if you get unlucky, he can just decide to kill you, which makes Cam 10 pretty unreliable. I'm actually not sure if this can happen on Night 2, but it definitely can happen on Night 3, so it's best to start avoiding it anyway. Plus, there's still the ventilation error thing to worry about. So, how is Cam 7 better? Well, in the event that Springtrap goes through a vent snare for whatever reason, you're not instantly dead. Cam 12 leads to the hallway outside your office, but that's much better than directly into it. In the event that he gets through, play audio in Cam 1 as much as you can to keep him there, and constantly reboot all. All of this is to say that Cam 7 is slightly less likely to make you want to delete the game, and a better choice if you can get Springy there. If you're willing to run the risk, Cam 10 is alright too. Whichever camera you pick, the rest of the night will consist of spamming the audio button every time Springtrap leaves the room and waiting for him to come back, and rebooting the systems while you're waiting for him to leave or for your audio to recharge. You know, the typical engaging FNaF gameplay. It's usually best to reboot all, since this isn't nearly as punishing as it was in the original. The ventilation in cameras going out randomly is a big problem, and if you're spamming audio, then you won't have much of that either. Basically, whenever you're not doing something else, start rebooting all. If you decide to keep Springtrap in Cam 7, then you'll want to seal Cam 12. If he somehow ignores audio and escapes to Cam 7 or 10 trap, find him as quickly as possible and try to get him back there. If he's close to a vent, seal that one until you can get him away from it, then reseal the original one once he's back. That's basically it for Springtrap. He's just an annoying attention hog who occasionally breaks the fabric of reality when he doesn't get his way. Let's talk about the phantoms who actually exist in this game. Phantom Foxy is pretty simple. He spawns in your office to the left and just kind of sits there waiting for you to look at him like some kind of deformed puppy. As long as you don't look directly at him, you can do whatever, so just dodge looking above the maintenance panel and keep your eyes fairly low. When the office gets visibly darker, that's him leaving. He'll show up more and more as the nights go by, so just get in the habit of looking lower. Phantom BB, on the other hand, is an absolute pest. He can now appear on any camera instead of just 4 of them, so he's very likely to pop up a few times. When you see his eye covering a camera, switch away as quickly as possible, or he'll jump out at you and cause the ventilation to fail. This requires pretty fast reflexes, and it can very easily catch you off guard if you're not expecting it. For this reason, I try to avoid switching cameras unless needed so he can't spawn in. If you do switch cameras though, then be ready for him. Being ready to use hotkeys to look away helps if you're in flat mode, they're WASD on keyboard. You can also try flicking to the vent monitor, which won't get rid of BB, but it will stall him out. If you're careful, you can press a different camera before turning the main monitor back on, so this can be a good stalling tactic if you panic and can't switch cameras in time. If you mess up and get hit by either phantom, reboot ventilation instantly, or reboot all if something else is failing or close to it. Find Springtrap as soon as you can, and get him back to Cam 7 or 10, or if he's too far away, just try to keep him contained in any room and seal the nearest vent. That's pretty much it for Night 2. Keep Springy in a room, dodge the phantoms, and hope for the best. Night 3 isn't super different, but it does buff Springtrap and the phantoms and introduces 2 new threats, Phantom Mangle and Freddy. Strategy is pretty much the same here. Pick Cam 10 or 7, lure him there, seal the nearest vent, stare at him until he leaves, then get him back. Springtrap is a bit more aggressive, but as long as you keep dodging the phantoms, you'll be fine. Springtrap spawns immediately now, so no time to waste. His most likely spawn location is easily Cam 9, but he can actually spawn in any camera, so if he's not in 9, start searching for him as quick as you can. He can be pretty stealthy in the cameras, so you've got to really pay attention for some of them. Honestly, if the night starts and he's not in Cam 9, it may be a much better option to just restart the night until he is. It makes things a lot easier. Either way, lure him to 7 or 10 as soon as you can. Definitely go for 7 if he didn't spawn in 9 or 10, since it'll be closer anyway. Once you've got him there, keep him in the trap and try to avoid switching cameras. Spam audio when he leaves and reboot all otherwise. Remember to avoid looking at Foxy once he spawns in. The new Phantoms continue the trend of one of them being completely useless and the other one being annoying as hell. Phantom Freddy spawns in every now and then and walks past your window, same as FNaF 3 but a bit faster. You have to stare at him for several seconds before he jump scares you, so you've got plenty of time to look away even if you accidentally look up. And apparently he doesn't even do anything sometimes even if you stare right at him, so yet another example of impeccable programming. Just avoid staring at the window for an extended period of time and he doesn't matter. Phantom Mangle, on the other hand, is just plain irritating. He's basically Phantom BB, but for the vents. Fun! If you see him on the vent monitor, switch to a different camera or go back to the main monitor as soon as possible. Just like Phantom BB, switching monitors won't make him go away, but it will give you more time to get rid of him. Unfortunately, this strat is now very risky because BB and Mangle can spawn at the same time, meaning that you'll just end up getting jump scared by one of them if you don't change cameras. At this point, it's best to just switch cameras rather than going to a different monitor. As you can probably tell, switching cameras or monitors is just a bad idea at this point. Seal a vent at the beginning, get Springtrap to a good room as soon as possible, and then stay there unless absolutely necessary. In the event of a disaster where you lose track of him, listen for vent noises and quickly search the vents and seal the one he's in if you hear them. Remember to keep rebooting all when you can. If he gets close, try and keep him in Cam 1. He can actually backtrack from here for whatever reason, so if you get lucky, he'll go to your window and you can lure him back to Cam 2 and then 4, seal Cam 15, and then hopefully keep him there for the rest of the night. Don't give up if he gets close, you can still win even if he's right next to you. If you see him crawling through the vent on your right though, you're seconds away from death, so just try and hold out for 6 AM if you're close. There's not much else to say about Night 3, it's just more of the same with Mangle and Freddy thrown into the mix, forcing you to play a bit more carefully. Just be cautious, and remember, beware of Giga Springtrap. Well, that's all for now. Follow this strategy, and you should be able to complete the first half of the FNaF 3 mode. Since I find BB and Mangle really annoying personally, I'm curious, who do you think the most annoying Phantom in the game is? Let me know in the comments. Speaking of which, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you'd like updates on what I'm doing next, feel free to join the Discord server or follow me on Twitter for all the latest on upcoming videos, streams, and collabs, a chance to just chill with other FNaF fans, or even to get help on a night that you're struggling with. If you enjoyed this guide and you'd like to see more, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel to show your support. I know it's the classic YouTuber plug, but it really does help me out. I'd also like to give a quick shout out to Bonnie360 for making this video's thumbnail, and to Insta for providing some great information to make this guide as accurate as it can be. Both of them have been helping out with these videos for some time, and they're both linked in the description, so go support them as well. All of the links that I mentioned earlier are down there too, so check them all out. With that being said, thank you guys for watching this guide, I hope it helped you, and I will see you in the next one.